So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty, originally named as Ghazi Malik. Now what happened was Alauddin Khilji's general, who was Malik Kafur, the most trusted general, rose to power after Alauddin Khilji. However, the slaves had a conspiracy, and as a result Malik Kafur was no longer the part of the Khilji dynasty, and therefore Tughlaq dynasty rose to power under Ghazi Malik, or Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq as he was called. Now Ghazi Malik was one of the most benevolent and strong rulers of that time. He was known for his firmness in decisions, and it is believed that his own son John Khan, who was later known as Muhammad bin Tughlaq, planned a conspiracy against Ghiyasuddin or Ghazi Malik, and in this conspiracy, a pavilion fell on Ghiyasuddin, and as a result, Ghiyasuddin lost his life. After him, as it was planned by his son John Khan or Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Muhammad bin Tughlaq rose to power. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who was the son of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who planned a conspiracy and led to the death of his father Ghazi Malik, ultimately rose to power after him. And Muhammad bin Tughlaq was known for his knowledge. He was a great mathematician, a great philosopher. He was a very learned and an accomplished person, but whatever he did, he failed totally as a ruler. As a ruler, he was not able to bring the schemes properly. Even the schemes which were good were not implemented properly. So in both ways, he was not one of the successful leaders, we could say, who could keep the empire united. There were four important happenings that happened under his reign, and those were the taxation in the Doab area, the transfer of capital, token currency, and failures of expedition. We would understand how these policies were responsible for the decline of the Tughlaq dynasty, and despite being an accomplished and a well-read, well-learned person, he created defective policies. So the first policy was the taxation in Doab. He believed that he should increase the land tax, and therefore he would be able to maintain a good army. So he increased the land tax, but unfortunately during the same time there was a severe famine, and the farmers were unable to pay that huge amount of tax, and believed that Muhammad bin Tughlaq would do undue justice to them, so they started to run away. Now Muhammad bin Tughlaq got informed about it. When he got informed about it, his policies, his ideas were shattered, and he tried to adopt a different policy where he was very liberal on his finances. So he started to give lots of loans, he started to give seeds for agriculture, he even started and asked people to dig wells, the payment of which would be made by the kingdom. But this was too late. At this point of time, all the farming system was under a collapse. So the taxation in the region of the Ganga Yamuna Doab predominantly failed because of the policies of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The next defective policy was transfer of capital. Now, what he believed was he has established a stronghold in the North India. So, it's a good time to move to south. He transferred his capital from Delhi to Devagiri, which is Daulatabad, present Daulatabad in Maharashtra. Now, when he moved from Delhi to Daulatabad, which was a distance of 708 miles long, this long distance, when his nobles, his soldiers started to move, a lot of them lost their life in between. Also, once there was Daulatabad, that was the seat, Mongols realized that they had a good stake in the north, and they started to invade the regions of north. At this point, Muhammad bin Tughlaq found that Daulatabad is too south and taking a control of North India from this point becomes very, very difficult. So he twisted his views and immediately he said that this is not a feasible solution. We cannot remain in Daulatabad. Let's move back to Delhi. So he marched his army again back to Delhi, and in the meanwhile a lot of people again lost their lives moving back from Daulatabad to Delhi. So ultimately this whole event of transfer of capital from Delhi to Daulatabad or Daulatabad back to Delhi was nothing but a devastation for his people, his army, and a lot of people lost their life. A lot of expense from the Tughlaq Empire was seen because of this act. The next unsuccessful policy was the idea of token currency. So what he said that the state was under a heavy economic burden because of the two events. What two events? The taxation policies in Doab and again the transfer of capital. And therefore, along with that, the Muhammad bin Tughlaq was used to a very lavish lifestyle. All of these brought in a huge deficit. So what he thought was it's a good idea to introduce another coin, another currency, and so rather than gold and silver, he introduced what? He introduced copper currency at the same valuation as the gold and silver. The further interesting story is the minting was not under the monopoly of the state. So many people started to imitate the royal coins and therefore lots of fake coins came into market. Now, knowing this, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was totally surprised and he thought of immediately removing this copper currency. So he said all the copper coins should go away and should be replaced by gold and silver coin. So he asked people to bring the copper coins and in return he would pay them. So this again further brought a devastation to his already downtrodden economic system, creating a further impoverishment for the state. The last and the most unsuccessful event was his ideas of expedition. Now, what he did was, in the beginning, he marched his army to the region of Kangra near Himachal Pradesh, and away from Kangra, he was trying to capture Tibet. He started to move his army towards the region of Tibet, but soon realized that this is a very extreme condition and our army cannot survive this extreme climate conditions. So, a lot of army either had to lose their life and also a lot of funds went into vain. His second expedition was towards the region of Khorasan. Now Khorasan was a region in Central Asia. He planned a huge army with new developed artilleries and weapons to have a march towards Khorasan and even paid the soldiers 1 year of advance salary to march towards the region of Khorasan. But at that time, he realized that his treasury has suffered huge losses and this mission cannot be completed. So again, this project was totally laid off. Both of these were some of the major failures, but this was not the end. His repeated failures made him highly unpopular among the local people. Numerous revolts broke out in different areas. So in the east, you had West Bengal, in the west the regions of Gujarat, Sindh, in the south Tamil Nadu, Warangal. So these were the areas where people and the kingdoms started to separate out, and by 14th century it is believed that from the east Bengal and from the west Sindh were lost by him. All of the region south of Narmada was also lost by him. So he remained with a very small region, and even in the south Bahamani and Vijayanagar came to power as an independent kingdom. So overall we could say, despite being a learned scholar, a great mathematician, his practical policies were very, very weak. Now, some of the developments, if we see under the time of Tughlaq dynasty, have been important. So the next ruler was Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq was the cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and he succeeded Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1351. Now, it is believed that Tughlaqs failed to have the support from the ulemas and the nobles. So there was an idea by Firoz Shah Tughlaq to make people more happy. Now Firoz Shah Tughlaq led a series of development. He built 4 important cities. Those are Firozabad under his own name Firoz Shah, Jaunpur in Uttar Pradesh, Fatehabad and Hisar in Haryana. He improved on the irrigation system, dug canals, wells, and also Palace cum Fort was built at Firoz Shah Kotla. It is also believed that 2 Ashokan pillars were brought and one of those have been erected at Firoz Shah Kotla. So Firoz Shah Kotla was developed again under the name of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Also, it is believed that hereditary rights of the land were given to the nobles and the people in army. But again, Firoz Shah was not that competent ruler. The region of Deccan and Bengal became independent. Campaigns from the regions of Sindh, Gujarat started because there was lots of mismanagement under Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq is also known to have established numerous schools, colleges, madrasas. He also established sarais for the travelers. His one charity fund is important, which is known as Diwan-e-Khairat, and this department of charity led a lot of relief to the poor people and bringing in employment for the jobless people. Scholars who were there translated Sanskrit sculptures to Persian language. Trade was promoted, octroi duty was reduced, advance loans were given to families who were suffering from famine during that time. But after Tughlaq, we could see that the further successors of Tughlaq dynasties were very, very weak, and therefore the invasion of Timur was witnessed after Tughlaq dynasty. Followed by the invasion, we had the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasty that came to power after Timur.